Come, let us help you grow your business.
For any complaints about our broadcasting, any feedback, please write Luntha TV via the email and the telephone number below, or write
Luntha Television stands as an autonomous faith-based broadcaster with a national and international reach. Experience the difference with Luntha Television, where innovation meets experience.
Thank you for joining us, and it's time for our news bulletin right here on Luntha Television. And you're with me, Patrick Pooper, but first, the headlines. Pope Leo XIV calls all baptized Christians agents of evangelization. Reserve Bank Governor reviews Public Service Pension Trust Fund, ignore directives on Amaris Hotel acquisition. Parliamentarian questions discontinued cases linked to ruling Democratic Progressive Party DPP officials, warns of public funds misuse. And in international news, Congo Republic Sassou wins the election with nearly 95% entirely controlled vote. Those were the headlines, and now the news in detail. During his weekly general audience, Pope Leo XIV emphasized that every baptized Christian is called to actively share and live out the faith, describing all believers as agents of evangelization. Continuing his reflection on Lumen Gentium from the Second Vatican Council, the Pope highlighted that baptism gives all members of the Church a shared mission. We have a Vatican News report read by Chaudhry Chiranga.
Pope Leo explained that the faithful participate in Christ's priestly, prophetic, and kingly roles, forming what he called a royal priesthood. The pontiff stressed that this mission unites clergy and lay people alike, noting that through baptism and confirmation, believers are strengthened to spread and defend the faith, both in word and action. He echoed earlier remarks by Pope Francis, reaffirming that baptism is the foundation identity for every Christian. Pope Leo also pointed to the importance of the sense of the faith shared by the church community, saying it enables believers collectively to discern truth and remain united in matters of doctrine. Concluding his address, the Holy Father urged Catholics to renew their awareness of belonging to the people of God and to embrace the responsibility of witnessing to Christ in everyday life.
Mulanje Central Parliamentarian Kondwani Nankuma has expressed concern over the rising numbers of criminal cases being discontinued, questioning whether the trend is being applied selectively and warning that it is risky undermining public trust in the justice system. Nankuma was commenting on the growing trend of discontinued criminal cases involving some figures linked to the ruling party, a process carried out under the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions on Wednesday at the Parliament building in Lilongwe. More in our report, followed by Gift Kalonga.
Parliamentarian for Mulanje Central Constituency, Kondwani Nankumwa, has raised concern over the increasing trend of criminal cases being discontinued before reaching their conclusion. He questioned whether these decisions made through the DPP are being applied selectively, particularly in favor of individuals linked to the ruling Democratic Progressive Party DPP. He warned that such practices would undermine public trust in the justice system and weaken accountability, stressing that justice must remain impartial and free from political influence. Nankumwa also highlighted reports of cases being settled out of court, cautioning that such arrangements risk misusing public funds. He urged authorities to ensure transparency and fairness in the handling of all criminal cases to safeguard public resources.
We also meet the Legal Affairs Committee of the House to explain why and how. But also, in the very same context, we have heard of reports that there are some other cases that are just being settled out of court. From the Ministry of Justice, they would write to say, the Ministry of Finance to say that, okay, fine, there was this case, it has been settled out of court, please pay them so much, pay them so much. So this is how we are draining the public coffers.
In response, Minister of Justice Charles Muhango noted that the MP did not provide specific examples to prove his claims. Muhango emphasized that the Director of Public Prosecutions DPP operates independently under the Constitution and that he as minister has neither the authority nor the intention to interfere the DPP's work.
The reasons they've given, I don't know. They have to provide those reasons, not to the Minister of Justice, they provide those reasons to the Legal Affairs Committee of this Parliament, not to Minister of Justice. So no one should ask me the reasons which have been given. I have said I don't want to interfere with the work of the Legal Affairs Committee. I don't want to preempt what the DPP has provided to the Legal Affairs Committee. The Legal Affairs Committee will report to this House publicly if they want to.
Meanwhile, the Minister of Justice says the matter will be handled by the Parliamentary Committee on Legal Affairs. For Luntha News in Lilongwe, this is Gift Kalonga.
The Malawi Electoral Commission (MEC) says it is prioritizing verification of results before announcing winners in the March 17 by-elections. The Commission is currently receiving and processing results from 4 constituencies, which are Dedza Mtakataka, Blantyre West, Rumpi Central, and Nkhotakota Luwaladze, and 9 wards as they arrive at the National Tally Center. Speaking in an interview, Malawi Electoral Commission (MEC) spokesperson Sangwani Mafrira said the Commission is following a strict process to ensure credible outcomes. More in this report by Constance Kamtameni.
Mafrira said the Commission is focusing on 3 key areas: verification of result sheets, review of complaints, and assessment of void votes, adding that in cases where void votes are higher than the margin between leading candidates, further checks will be conducted before a final determination is made. MEC has also confirmed that some results started arriving after overnight tallying, with more expected as the process continues. The Commission has since appealed to political parties, candidates, and the public to remain calm, stressing that only verified results will be officially announced.
Process them. The Commission looks into 3 things. 1, the results themselves, the result sheets, and makes its determination. At the same time, considers any complaint through the examination of the record complaints book or any other complaint that might be lodged at the National Tally Center, and also examines the void results in the event that the difference between the first candidate and the second placed candidate is less than the sum of the void votes. So when these three processes are concluded, that's when the commission can release the results. So this will be the focus of the commission for now, up to the time it's done with all the results from the 4 constituencies and the 9 wards.
MEC conducted parliamentary by-elections in constituencies including Kota Liwalats, Detamtakataka, Blantyre West, and Rompi Central. It also conducted local government by-elections in Iembe Ward, Kalonga District, Luwinga Ward, Nzuzu City, Lintembe Ward, Dowa District, Chilobwe Ward, Lilongwe District, Msitu Ward, Nchinji District, Mikongo Ward, Mangochi District, Chanda and Shirunga Wards, Zomba District, and Monekera Ward, Choro District. For Luntha News, this is Constance Kamtemi.
The Center for Democracy and Economic Development Initiative (CDED) has called on the Director of Public Prosecutions to investigate the whereabouts of 30 million liters of fuel reportedly donated to Malawi by the Democratic Republic of Congo, amid fears that a significant portion of the consignment may have been mismanaged or diverted. CDED Executive Director Sylvester Namiwa made the call during a press briefing in Lilongwe, stressing that the issue raises serious concerns about transparency and accountability in the handling of public resources. Namiwa said the fuel donation was made at the height of Malawi's fuel crisis, but only about 1.2 million liters can currently be accounted for as having reached the country, a development he described it as alarming. He further stated that former President Lazarus Chakwera, who previously acknowledged alleged corruption at the National Oil Company of Malawi, NOCMA, should be questioned alongside NOCMA Chief Executive Officer Clement Kanyama to help establish what happened to the missing of the fuel. Namiwa explains.
You see, there's a catchword that the APM is alone in the fight against corruption. It has been proven wrong by the current governor of the Reserve Bank, George Partridge. He has demonstrated that it is possible by recovering over 72 billion of the public pension. Now, we have not given the DPP an ultimatum for simple reason. It is up to him to prove that he has joined APM in the fight against corruption, or he is on the other side. Therefore, there's no reason whatsoever why he should continue to be serving in the public office. Secondly, this matter should have been dealt with as of yesterday. Therefore, we don't see a reason why he should be dilly-dallying. Thirdly, we have provided evidence, and the more compelling evidence is President Chakwera's own public admission that there is rampant corruption at NOCMA, but he decided to take his time to control things after election, and we know what happened. He paid dearly for his procrastination.
In case you are just joining us, remember you are watching News Bulletin coming to you from Luntha Television, and you are with me, Patrick Pupa. But before proceed, top stories once again. Pope Leo XIV calls all baptized Christians agents of evangelization. Reserve Bank Governor reviews Public Service Pension Trust Fund, ignore directives on Amaris Hotel acquisition. Parliamentarian questions discontinued cases linked to ruling Democratic Progressive Party DPP officials, warns of public funds misuse. And in international news, Congo Republic Sassou wins the election with nearly 95% entirely controlled vote. Welcome back. The Reserve Bank Governor George Partridge has disclosed to the Public Accounts Committee (PAC) that officials at the Public Service Pension Trust Fund failed to comply with the directive to suspend the acquisition of Amaris Hotel despite multiple irregularities identified in the process. The governor emphasized that the Reserve Bank had issued an immediate order to halt the transaction. However, the Public Service Pension Trust Fund proceeded with the deal without authorization. He described the development as a serious breach of regularity instructions, raising concerns about governance and oversight within the pension fund. Governor Partridge noted that the Reserve Bank acted swiftly to contain the financial risk arising from the irregular transactions. Alison Banda has filed this report.
According to the governor, the National Bank of Malawi and FDH Investment Bank have been instructed to reverse all payments linked to the acquisition. He further revealed that FIA has already recovered 72 billion Malawi kwacha and assured the public that every possible effort will be made to recover the remaining funds. Governor Partridge underscored the broader implications of the case, stressing the need for accountability in the management of public resources. He said public confidence in the pension funds depend on strict adherence to regulations, transparency, and ethical investment practices. The governor has assured the public that all necessary legal and administrative measures will be taken to ensure full recovery of the funds and to safeguard the integrity of public investment management.
72 billion has been frozen or has been quarantined.
Moving forward, what's the way forward?
To trace some more amounts, wait for the responses from the trustees, and then we will assess the responses and we will move forward.
In his remarks, chairperson for the committee, Baba Steve Malondela, commended the Reserve Bank for its effort in recovering 72 billion Malawi kwacha. He further assured the public that the committee will pursue the matter thoroughly to ensure full accountability and establish the truth surrounding the transaction.
What happened? And sadly, even in most African countries don't do this, because when you find out from the Auditor General, they also have an institution of Auditor Generals across. So you need experts, serious experts, to trace this funding. So this may be something that we can learn, but we have a belief that we need to do some lifestyle auditing on few officers.
Earlier, PAC heard from Boyd Hamela that the Public Service Pension Trust Fund executes its investment strategy through fund managers, with NICO leading the proposed acquisition of Amaris Hotel, among other 2023 investment options presented to the trust.
The Regional Climate Resilience Program 2 has begun preparatory activities for projects aimed at strengthening Malawi's response to natural disaster, with full-scale implementation expected to pick up later this year. Regional Climate Resilience Program 2 Communications Specialist Yvonne Sundu said in an interview with Luntha television that although the 5-year program, which started in 2024, has yet to show significant progress, substantial groundwork is being laid to ensure smooth implementation. Chedra Chiranga has filed a report read by Adams Manalupembe.
Sundu explained that the district councils across the country are receiving funding through a performance-based approach to develop resilient infrastructure in response to disasters such as Tropical Cyclone Freddy, Cyclone Anna, and severe winds that have damaged schools. Sundu added that the second cycle of these interventions will commence in the coming months. She emphasized that the initiatives are tailored to the specific needs of each district council, which identifies priorities, while the RCRP2 provides the necessary funds through the Local Governance Financial Committee. According to Sundu, The program is also set to rehabilitate roads and bridges damaged by Cyclone Friday, particularly in the southern and central region of Malawi, with construction expected to begin around August. Background work, including designing bridges and identifying contractors, is currently ongoing.
We also have identified a contractor that is going to construct the National Climate Change Center at Capitol Hill. This contractor is just designing how the structure is supposed to be like. Upon completion, somewhere around August, September, we should be able to also identify a contractor that will start the actual work of building this center. And this center, like I've mentioned, is going to be at Capitol Hill. It is going to house the Department of Disaster Management Affairs, the Department of Climate Change Meteorological Services, the Department of Water Resources, among other institutions that are going to be based in that structure once it is completed. Then we have other smaller interventions that are being done by the National Water Resources Authority. They are looking at Shire Basin plans because there are interventions that are targeting river basins in Malawi. Then we have also other interventions that are being run by the
Department of Disaster Affairs, the Department of Climate Change and Meteorological Services, the Department of Water Resources, and other relevant institutions. Construction is expected to start around August or September, following the design phase. Design phase. Design phase. Design phase. Design phase.
Child Rights Advocacy Center has called for a shift in mindset among Malawians in addressing gender-based violence, stressing the need for a more inclusive approach that recognizes both women and men as victims. The call comes at a time when Malawi continues to focus largely on women as the primary victims on gender-based violence, with many organizations actively advocating for their protection. However, advocates say men are also affected, yet receive less attention and support from the same institutions. According to the Executive Director of Child Rights Advocacy, Memory Ngosi, gender-based violence does not leave anyone behind and requires a balanced response to effectively address the problem. Emmanuel Chocha with the details.
Gender-based violence in Malawi remains a critical human rights and a developmental issue. Between 2023 and 2025, the country has recorded high perseverance rate, with nearly 1 in 246% women experiencing physical or sexual violence in their lifetime. At the same time, cases involving men have also been rising, largely due to the increased awareness and improved reporting mechanism. Although men still accounts for a smaller proportion of reported cases, recent trends indicate that more men are beginning to speak out, challenging long-standing cultural norms that have discouraged them from reporting abuse. In an interview with Luntha, Ngosi emphasized the need for Malawians to change their perception of GBV, describing it as a cycle that affects all genders. She noted that while women remains mostly affected, limiting the conversation to women alone leaves out other victims who also need support and protection.
Equal opportunities, and when it comes to abuse, everyone who is indulging in abuse should not be spared, whether you're a woman, whether you're a man. So I think as a country, we need to get to that point, not just looking at the issue of GBV as just something that it's only women or girl children that are affected.
Echoing the same sentiments, gender analyst Limbingani Nkangadzula said although women and girls are disproportionately affected, men are also victims of GBV. Nkangadzula attributed the low reporting of cases among men to cultural beliefs that discourage them from expressing vulnerability, such as a notion that men do not cry. He further called for stronger collaboration among stakeholders to intensify awareness campaigns and promote inclusivity in GBV intervention. He also commended ongoing efforts aimed at supporting male victims.
Or not all men tolerate violence, but it's possible to have a change in the gender norms or the attitude that men and boys have towards women and girls. So it's something that can take time, but I think there are so many organizations. I think you mentioned Obujam Moses as one of the key drivers as well, nationwide, where...
As Malawi continues to fight gender-based violence, stakeholders agreed that addressing the issue requires a shift of societal attitudes and a more inclusive response. For Luntha News, in Lilongwe, this is Emmanuel Georgia.
And finally, in international news, the Republic of Congo's President Denis Nguesso has been re-elected for a fifth consecutive term, according to provisional results announced Tuesday by the authorities. Nguesso won 94.82% of the vote. Interior Minister Raymond Zeperini announced on state television. 6 other candidates challenged the 82-year-old for the top job in the Central African country that boasts one of the largest oil reserves in sub-Saharan Africa. We have an African news report read by Tandwem Zumara.
The internet was shut down across the country as usual during the presidential election, and traffic was restricted across the capital. The Interior Minister reported a turnout of 84.65% and 2.6 million ballots cast. But many polling stations in the capital, Brazzaville, saw short or non-existent lines, as locals said they did not believe the election would result in a change in leadership from Sassou Nguesso, who has ruled for 42 years. Sassou Nguesso, running for the Congolese Party of Labour, first came to power in 1979 and ruled until 1992, when he organized the country's first multi-party elections. He returned to power as a militia leader following a 4-month civil war in 1997. The campaign period showed a vast mismatch between Sassou Nguesso and his opponents, with the incumbent being the only candidate to travel around the country to canvass for votes. 2 other major parties boycotted the elections over allegations of unfair electoral practices. A constitutional referendum in 2015 removed presidential age and term limits, allowing him to run again. The country is struggling with high international debt, which stands at 94.5% of its gross domestic product, according to the World Bank, and with skyrocketing unemployment among young people. More than half the country's 5.7 million population lives in poverty, and 47% of the country's population is under 18.
And that concludes our news bulletin right here on Luntha Television. But before I go, top stories once again. Pope Leo XIV calls all baptized Christians agents of evangelization. Reserve Bank Governor reviews Public Service Pension Trust Fund, ignore directives on Amaris Hotel acquisition. Parliamentarian questions discontinued cases linked to ruling Democratic Progressive Party DPP officials, warns of public funds misuse. And in international news, Congo Republic Sassou wins the election with nearly 95% in tightly controlled vote. Thank you for staying with us. We appreciate your company for watching our news bulletin right here on Luntha Television. And this has been Padre Buba, and I wish you a lovely time and keep watching Luntha Television, and bye for now.